I asked all of our head coaches at Daily Mentor, what are the main Shopify secrets that when taught to students, blow them away and make them millions of dollars? And I also gave the requirement that it needs to be a secret. So this presentation is no one's using these Shopify secrets, and that's why they work. So if you want to make real money with Shopify in 2025, stop copying what most brands are doing, because most of them aren't making any money. Instead, use these elite secrets to grow faster, spend smarter, and double your revenue. They're not hacks in the clickbait sense. They're systems that actually drive profit, simple, scalable, and widely underused. So who am I? I've grown the Oodie and a bunch of other e-commerce brands, $850 million in revenue. I also have one of the largest e-commerce mentorship, Daily Mentor. So it's safe to say this is my game and I understand it very well. So we're going to break down these secrets, and they are secrets. To make this more actionable, I'll be ranking each of these hacks using the ICE framework, which stands for impact. So how much it actually impacts the business in terms of like revenue. Then confidence. What is the degree of confidence that you have that this is going to impact the store, the amount that it is? Because some things are quite exploratory, some things are a sure thing. And then we've got ease, which is like, how simple is it for even the stupidest person to implement within their business? So let's break it down before your competition does. So hack number one, the influencer whitelisting shortcut. You probably already understand that influencer marketing is super important, but the way that most people do it is an absolute nightmare. It's way too slow and way too manual for most people. It looks something like this. You DM them, ask them, hey, can you do a post? You get their size, you get their address, then you have to make the order in the back end of Shopify, and fingers crossed they actually post it. It just doesn't scale, especially when you've got 100 other responsibilities. And this is why we found a better way. Well, Manny, one of our coaches, did, so props to him. A way that actually lets you run this at volume instead of offering to send out products. We actually offer to send out gift cards instead. It can be $100 up to $200. We just DM people and say, hey, we love your content. Would love to send you a $100 gift card. You can pick whatever you want from your store and order it. All we ask is that if you do post it, you tag us. So it's not actually conditional that they post, and who's not going to say yes to that? Who's not going to just at least take the gift card? So then they can go in the store and they handle all of the post returns. They handle all the tracking, all of that kind of stuff. The creator checks out like a regular customer. Just make sure on the back end to keep it clean, make sure you tag those orders so they don't show up as real revenue in Shopify, because otherwise you might think you're having some really good months, but it's all influencers. This is where it gets really, really good. The next step that you can do, let's say you see that they take the gift card. You can say, hey, if you do post it, you can then offer them a unique discount code and say, hey, you can get affiliate commissions. You could use something like Social Snowball or any affiliate commission app. Then they're much more likely to post it because now they can actually earn money. This is really unique. They follow up with the angle to get whitelisting. Now, whitelisting is where you can run ads through the account. And for anyone that's actually tried to do this, it's very hard to scale it because people are like, oh, I'm a little bit scared about what you're going to run the ads as. They don't actually understand what it is. So you follow up with the positioning. We loved this post. Would you be open to us putting some spend behind it so that we can grow your Instagram? Because it will grow their Instagram. It will grow their following. So not, can we whitelist? You don't even use that term. We just want to grow your account. And this gets a huge amount of people, like even creators with 2 million, they've had success with people saying yes with that. Then you grab all of those whitelisted ads, run them through an Advantage Plus shopping campaign as just one big consolidated with 50 creatives, and you can put cost caps on it as well, just to stop the overspending. And then because the post is coming from their account, the CPM suddenly drop, the click-through rates also spike, and it's one of the most reliable ways we've seen to scale profitable cold traffic. So in terms of the ICE score, we've got impact 7 out of 10, because sometimes the ads won't perform maybe with a creator, but usually they do. Confidence 10 out of 10. Ease, the whole thing is making it, the whole whitelisting and influencer process, much easier. So all it takes is maybe you or a VA reaching out. Now, the next one is even bigger. Out of everything I taught, I reckon this is one thing that I just don't see anyone else doing, because I actually created it. I first picked it up when I was at Geek Out a long time ago, and they were talking about how many results they were getting from giveaways. But I've never really liked giveaways. You get so many bad customers through the lead objective that you run on Facebook or the engagement objectives They're just customers that will never buy for you. So you're basically sending a ton of bad traffic to the pixel. And then I was like, imagine if we can run conversion objectives, because they were talking about pixel structures. Then I was like, okay, we can run the conversion objective, but we're just not getting enough leads. And it's also taking a long time to actually understand whether those leads are more valuable because they are more expensive. Remember, cheap, worse traffic might actually not convert at a greater rate. Then to top it all off, I found that giveaways were really bad because the customer that's waiting 2 weeks to hear if they won a free hoodie isn't going to go buy one. So we wanted to find a way to qualify that customer straight away and get them to convert if they're not going to win the competition. So all that led me to setting up this funnel. You simply run a giveaway campaign like this Pokemon ad here for purchases, not leads on Facebook. The copy is simple. It's win a free product, only 10 available because you want to give 10 away. Then as the moment that they go onto that tool and then they fill it out, it's predetermined whether they win or don't win. If they don't win, then suddenly they instantly hit with a save 25% off on your next purchase. The cool thing about this is now suddenly we are running this as a purchase campaign on Facebook. We're getting perfectly targeted return on ad spend through Facebook, but we're also giving the customer a great offer, which converts like crazy. Now, one thing that you might often see with this is there is still a small delay. Let's say we see $40,000 revenue in Facebook. When you go onto Klaviyo and you exclude people in Klaviyo that have ever seen your brand, have ever interacted with your brand or signed up to any mailing list, you might see that the sales are actually double, if not triple that, which is really, really good quality traffic. Then what you want to do is clone your welcome flows to actually go for this giveaway. So they've got this big nurturing series and it converts like crazy. So to summarize, we've got a tool, like I'm not sponsored by WooRise. This is just the one that we use. There's plenty of other ones out there. Set up the WooRise on just a simple Shopify page, run ads to that page using the conversion tool, set up the email flows to nurture the leads, optimize the landing page, doing split tests and the ads, but make sure that you're reading the data of the Klaviyo of completely cold customers, and it should convert like crazy. And you'll be able to spend so much top of funnel traffic to it because people are seeing it and not even signing up because it is such a profitable campaign. Will do really well. So I rated this one as an impact 10 out of 10, confidence 5 out of 10. Sometimes it doesn't work for maybe brands that are really not known. Like it worked really well for Oodie because it's a brand name. I've had some people that are just like, the product is a little bit too premium or nobody even knows about the brand and that therefore that hasn't really worked. And then we've got ears, which is 6 out of 10. There's a bit of setup, but the main thing is the analytics. And the main thing to realize there is now I've just talked about this on this YouTube. The arbitrage might only last 12 months, but you can make an own version for yourself. So the next one is the dead ad revival method. So here's what you're going to do. Go into your Facebook ads manager right now and look for 50 to 100 ads that aren't running. If you're confused about how to do this, I've got some images here. You just go into this little filter and you click add delivery and you can put ads not delivering. You can also put some other filters on it like amount spent or return on ad spend, just so that you're getting ads that actually, are decent ads. So these are ads that are fatigued out, tests that didn't work the first time, or campaigns you paused months ago and maybe forgot about. Most of you have a graveyard of these ads just sitting there. Take all of these dead ads and relaunch them in one single campaign with cost caps. Why cost caps? Because if any of the ads aren't going to perform, they just won't spend any money. So it's a zero risk in relaunching these. We can launch as many creatives as we want, and Facebook will only spend money on the ads that are actually going to be profitable. So here's the strategy. Start with an Advantage Plus, targeting broad. Set your cost caps equal to your target customer acquisition costs. Launch with 10 to 20 ads per ad set. So you're basically highlighting all of the ads that aren't working and you're dragging them into a new ad set, and begin with a low daily budget of a couple of $100 just to make sure the cost cap is working. Then you let it run for 3 to 4 days. If the cost caps is spending properly and hitting your customer acquisition target, keep ramping up the budget. Why does this work so well? Your dead ads aren't actually ever just dead. A lot of the times they were turned off because they fatigued. The same people kept seeing them, or because the timing wasn't right. Maybe the trend wasn't actually fully kicked in, or there's seasonality. But since then, thousands and thousands of fresh shoppers have entered your market who have never seen these old ads. Plus, creative trends and buying behavior also shifts pretty radically month to month each and every single year. So meaning ads that have completely flopped 6 months ago can absolutely crush it again today. As David Ogilvy put it, you're not advertising to a standing army, you're advertising to a moving parade. And with a protection of the cost caps, you'll be able to squeeze extra profits from these creatives that you've already spent money on investing in. So the results you can expect, the more dead ads that you have, the bigger the results you can likely expect. It's not uncommon to see this campaign become one of the top spenders in your ad account versus all of the new ads that you've created, because it's just introducing so many of them. Some people are literally doubling their Facebook revenue just by reviving ads that they thought were dead. The best part is this costs you absolutely nothing except the time to set up. So it's impact 10, ease 10, and confidence, 10 as well. So next we've got a hack about testing core creative hooks. Most brands find one or two angles that kind of work, then cling to them just way too long. They'll tweak a few small things, swap the music, maybe test a new hook once in a while, but results start to drop fast. The problem, they're not testing enough hooks. The first 3 seconds of your ad are the most important. If people don't stop scrolling, nothing else matters. That's why we test 5 core hooks in every campaign. We've seen it firsthand. One slight variation in hook, same footage, same product, same everything, can double or triple the ad performance. We've also seen brands waste tens of thousands of dollars testing new, completely full ad concepts without realizing it was just the first 3 seconds that were the issue anyway. So here's the first one. First is the call out hook. This is where you directly speak to your target customer, call out their identity, their problem, or something they deeply relate to. For example, here on this Daily Mental ad, we've got $1 million e-com founders is like the first call out. That's calling them out. It could even be like hairdressers. You're calling out the exact person. Or do you like to walk the dog in the rain? That's a call out. Then we've got product hook. You lead with the product first, showing what it does best, demonstrating a key feature or outcome. This is direct, visual, and works especially well with problem-solving products. So for example, this cooling blanket, this person in the video might be sweating and the product is like on top of them and they start shivering, kind of thing. So calling out the product specifically rather than the avatar specifically. Then we've got an intrigue hook. So this is just something that sets up with mystery that needs to be resolved. Often like a question, surprising fact, or cliffhanger, which is great for pulling people in without immediately giving away the point. So you're taking people on a bit more of a journey. They're not instantly aware that this is an ad because there's a lot of curiosity and people need that curiosity gap filled, and therefore they're more emotional about it and they can actually watch the whole ad. So you might have some crazy fact or something like that, which is different to the next one, which is a trendy hook. A trendy hook is often around the current wave of memes, formats, or creator styles. Just go onto TikTok, scroll it, see what's going viral. And these work because they feel, again, very native into terms of the feed and won't feel like an ad. And then we've got bizarre hook, which is different again. This is just something that is just completely unexpected or weird, something the viewer has never seen before and can never look away. Like this random person with a chainsaw or this guy shaving his feet randomly. You can use confusion, humor, or shock. So here's how we do it. When creating new ads, we script at least 3 hook variations of the first 3 to 5 seconds. Each one of them aligns with one of the top 5 hooks. Then we run these in parallel to see which one gets the best engagement. So this has got an I score of impact 10, confidence 7, not all the time. Maybe original hook sometimes works. And then E is 6 out of 10. There is a bit of work to do on this one. And remember, the brands that consistently scale are the ones that obsess over the first 3 seconds. Next, we've got an overlooked way to turn traffic into money, an email strategy that turns autopilot. Now, this might be obvious to some, but it's surprising. We've looked at thousands of e-com brands. It's surprising how many people don't actually do this. Email marketing during a sale can feel like a massive chore. You're staring at Klaviyo, wondering if you need to rebuild flows, rewrite emails, set up timers and pop-ups, all for a campaign that you're just going to use once. Thankfully, there's a simple, repeatable system that delivers big results without wasting your time. Here's the strategy. Instead of building a new email flow every single time you do a sale, you're just going to clone your welcome series. This is the series that you already use when someone signs up for your list, and you just update the first email with the current offer. That one change turns your best performing email into a high converting sales launcher. So this is instead of someone just doing like 1 or 2 or 3 emails for their Black Friday sale, you're putting people through the entire series of your welcome series, but you're making sure that it is tailored to the offer that they offered, because then you can create urgency. So example, Black Friday, 25% off store wide, enter your email. You make sure that your pop-up is also aligned with that sale. It drastically increases conversion rate. And you also just need to make sure that you've got some manual follow-ups, like the sale ends tonight, 4 hours left. Maybe you even want to extend the sale for 12 hours if you've got enough stock or something like that. So you want to set those up as manual campaigns to that audience, but the rest of them should still be getting 15 or so emails in your email welcome flow. And you can go a little bit further in making this just easier for yourself. You can use a single dynamic text block across all of these campaigns. Klaviyo you can go into that, update that text box to the new sale, and it'll update across all of those flows and making it super easy. So impact 7 out of 10, confidence 10 out of 10, ease 7 out of 10. I'd probably make that 6 out of 10. There is a little bit of technical setup, but at the same time, it is very impactful. So the next hack is shopping feed optimization. Most people treat their product feed like a set and forget task on Google Shopping. With Google Shopping, PMAX is the most important lever for scaling profitable. Unlike Facebook, there isn't as much copy or creative. Your feed generally targets the relevance and ranking because Google Shopping is just such a big part of it. So this is why most brands go wrong. Titles, images, descriptions, price, and product type. People set up an automatic feed, but this feed can actually be changed and can be a huge lever for you. The first is title. Think of your title as the primary keyword. Include that main keyword early, such as women's running shoes, because Google often cuts titles around 70 characters. You have 150 characters total. Users won't read it all, but Google does. Then we've got description, which is less critical than the title, but still important. Use up to 5,000 characters. The first 500 will matter the most. Stuff it with relevant primary and secondary keywords. Then we've got images. Google now favors lifestyle images over plain studio shots. You want a mixture of both. Upload up to 10 images, test natural attention-grabbing photos to show your product actually in use. Then we've got product type and category. Google auto assigns these, but often does that incorrect. Manually choose from the most accurate category from Google's taxonomy to ensure better ad placement. Then we've got custom labels. This is where you can get strategic. You can use custom labels to group products by seasonality, margin, price range, bestsellers, bundles, whatever makes sense for your business. Then we've got sale price. If you're running a sale, make sure you've got the original price and the sale price. If Google sees you always running a strike through at the same price, it stops showing the strike through price. So make sure you're doing it authentically. Then we've got variant structuring. You want to make sure that you use item group IDs to tie variants together, such as sizes, colors, so they don't compete with each other. Each one still needs their own unique ID. And that's pretty much what goes into the feed. So if you're using Shopify, your feed likely syncs through the Google Shopping channel. It works, but it's basic. Weak titles, unoptimized image, and missing labels. To improve it, export your feed as a spreadsheet, make the edits on the spreadsheets, and upload it back to the Google Merchant Center as a supplemental feed. If you're comfortable with spreadsheets, it's a flexible way to boost performance. Start with your top selling products because it can quite get overwhelming if you've just got thousands and thousands of SKUs. So I'm giving this a I score of impact 6 out of 10. Some people can get crazy impact from it though. Confidence 10 out of 10. Most of the time that you optimize this, it's going to be way better. And then E is 7 out of 10. Can be a little bit complicated. Most brands overlook this. We've seen major returns from it. And this brings us to our final hack, which is again a Google hack because so many people are spending lots there, but it's all set and forget for people. So props to Jackson and Felipe, our coaches that have put these together. So split branded and non-branded campaigns. Now this might be an obvious tweak to some, but based on how many Google ad accounts we've seen that people aren't doing this, it's definitely one of the easiest ways to fix messy data and finally see what's actually working in your ad account and scale. Most brands don't separate branded from non-branded campaigns. And a lot of people just feel like this is more efficient. Give Google more control. The numbers often look great. People are like, the ROAS is super high. And that is exactly the trap. Suddenly your numbers get padded. You have no idea what is actually working. This is because branded campaigns are always going to have the best results. This is people already searching for your name, but that performance is misleading. It masks underperforming creatives, poor offers, and weak cold traffic strategies. So here's a hypothetical. Imagine you're running a campaign and seeing a 4 times return on ad spend. Everything looks great on the surface. So you start scaling hard, thinking that your strategy is bulletproof. But then you dig into the data and realize that most of the performance is coming from people already searching your exact brand name. Meanwhile, your cold traffic, the people who have never heard of you, is barely converting. Your ads actually aren't doing the heavy lifting on Google. You've just been boosted by that warm traffic, like it might be working well on Facebook, driving that traffic. Now, imagine you split things properly. Suddenly all of your data is going to become super clean. Your testing is going to get better. Your creative strategy improves as well. The creatives that work for non-branded are suddenly going to be very, very different. So here's the approach that I recommend. Put a branded campaign that is targeting your exact brand keywords in a very low budget campaign. Then add exact match negatives to your non-branded campaign to block any of the branded traffic going to that. This will give you all of the things that I just mentioned, and you can scale up accordingly and maybe even average out the results to understand your true return on ad spend. If you like this, I just did this huge video covering the 4-step framework to fix or grow and scale any business from $1 million to $10 million. Go check it out. It's free on YouTube.